Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. There are people out there who don't just want to see you fail, they want to see you weak. They want you broken, second-guessing yourself, doubting your worth, because the moment you rise, the moment you step into your true strength, you expose just how powerless they really are. And that's exactly why you cannot give them what they want. You have to show them that no matter what they throw at you, no matter how hard they push, you are the one who refuses to break. You are the one who is unbeatable. There are people in this world who don't want you to succeed. They don't want you to rise, they don't want you to shine, and they definitely don't want to see you strong. Toxic people thrive on your weakness. They feed off your doubt, your hesitation to step fully into who you are. They want you second-guessing yourself, shrinking back, staying small, because the stronger you get, the less power they have over you, and that's the truth they fear most. When you're weak, when you're unsure, they can control you. They can make you question every move, every decision, every instinct. They'll remind you of your mistakes, they'll magnify your flaws, they'll do everything to make you feel inadequate. They will convince you that you are less, so they can feel like they are more. That is how toxic people survive, by breaking down those around them. But here's the thing, their survival strategy doesn't have to work on you. You have to decide right now that you're not giving anyone that kind of power. Because the moment you hand it over, you've allowed them into your head, and that is the most dangerous place you can let them be. They don't belong there. Your mind is yours. Your strength is yours. And the only way to keep it is to stop letting the voices of toxic people drown out your own. The truth is, the stronger you become, the louder they'll get. They'll question your intentions, criticize your growth, tell you you're arrogant, tell you you've changed. And you know what? Good. You're supposed to change. You're supposed to evolve. Growth isn't meant to make everyone comfortable. It's meant to make you powerful. And power is exactly what they don't want you to have. So let them talk. Let them project their insecurity, their fear, their limitations onto you, because every word they throw at you is really about them, not you. It's a mirror of their weakness, not yours. People who try to tear you down are already beneath you, because strong people don't spend their lives trying to weaken others. Only the weak do that. Only the toxic need to drag someone down in order to feel taller. What they don't realize is that your strength doesn't come from their approval, their validation, or their acceptance. Your strength comes from everything you've endured. Every time you've fallen and gotten back up, every time you've been underestimated and kept going, every time you've walked through fire and refused to burn down. That's where your strength is built. In the struggle, in the silence, in the moments when nobody was cheering for you and you had to be your own coach, your own supporter, your own fighter. So when someone tries to make you feel small, remember, you didn't come this far to hand over your power. You didn't survive everything you've survived just to let someone else define you. You are not weak and you are not breakable. You are the sum of every battle you've fought and every scar you've carried. And the fact that you're still here, standing, breathing, fighting, means you are already unbeatable. Unbeatable doesn't mean you never fall. It doesn't mean you don't have doubts, fears, or moments where you want to give up. Unbeatable means you don't stay down. You don't let your setbacks become your identity. You rise again and again, no matter how many times life tries to knock you flat. That is what makes you unstoppable. That is what toxic people can't stand, because no matter what they throw your way, you refuse to break. The biggest weapon you have against toxic people is your refusal to play their game. They want you reactive, emotional, defensive. They want you explaining yourself, justifying yourself, proving yourself. Don't give them that satisfaction. The moment you stop responding to their noise, you win. The moms. And you keep moving forward no matter what they say. You show them their words are powerless. Silence, progress, success. Those are the sharpest blades you can carry. And don't misunderstand, strength isn't about being hard, cold, or unfeeling. Real strength is control. It's discipline. It's knowing when to fight and when to walk away. It's being so confident in who you are that you don't need anyone else to tell you. That's what makes you unbeatable. Not that you never feel the sting of betrayal or cruelty, but that you never let it decide your worth. Every toxic person you encounter is really a test. They are there to see how much of yourself you're willing to compromise, how much of your light you'll dim just to keep them comfortable. Don't give in. Don't let their darkness shrink your fire. Your life isn't about making others feel secure. Your life is about showing up as fully as you can, even if it threatens those who can't handle your strength. You need to understand something. Toxic people are terrified of the version of you that doesn't need them. The version that is self-sufficient, confident, resilient. The version that doesn't crumble under criticism or bend under pressure. That version of you, the one who refuses to be weak, is the greatest threat to their entire existence. Because it exposes their lie. It proves they never had power over you to begin with. So stop trying to convince them of your worth. Stop wasting energy proving yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. They don't need to see your value for it to exist. You don't need their recognition to be powerful. All you need is your own belief, your own discipline, your own refusal to back down. You want to show toxic people who you really are? Don't argue, don't fight, don't shrink. Show them through your consistency. Show them through your results. Show them through your ability to walk through their doubt and still build a life they could only dream of. Every time you succeed despite their efforts, you show them you are unshakable. Every time you rise after they try to break you, you show them you are unbreakable. And every time you choose to keep going, to keep fighting, to keep becoming stronger, you show them you are unbeatable. Because being unbeatable isn't about conquering them, it's about conquering yourself, conquering your own fear, your own self-doubt, your own temptation to give up. It's about mastering your mind, your emotions, your reactions, and once you've mastered that, nothing they say, nothing they do can touch you. You'll be untouchable because your strength will no longer come from anything outside you. It will come from within, and that's a place they can never reach. And that's where the shift happens, when you finally understand that your strength doesn't have to be borrowed, begged for, or proven to anyone else. It's already there, sitting inside you, waiting for you to claim it. Toxic people can distract you. They can try to bury it under their words and actions, but they can never take it away from you. They can't, because it doesn't belong to them. It's yours. Always has been. Always will be. The danger is not what they say about you. It's what you choose to believe about yourself. That's where battles are won or lost. When you let their voices sound louder than your own, when you start agreeing with their lies, that's when you hand over your strength. But when you decide that your voice is the one that matters most, when you take command of your own narrative, suddenly their power vanishes. Their toxicity only works if you absorb it, refuse to take it in, and it bounces right back to them. And don't think for 1 second that this path will be easy. You will be tested again and again. There will be people who push every button you have, who exploit your kindness, who manipulate your loyalty, who disguise themselves as friends, as mentors, as partners, while slowly draining you. You have to recognize them for what they are, no matter how much it hurts. The toughest part about dealing with toxic people is often the fact that they are people you once trusted, people you once believed in. That betrayal cuts deep, and it leaves scars. But scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. So yes, you will feel pain. Yes, you will feel loss. Yes, you will feel the sting of disappointment when people reveal who they really are. But none of that means you are broken. What it means is that you now have a choice. Stay wounded or use the wound to grow stronger. Toxic people want you stuck in the wound, reliving it, replaying it, drowning in it. But you are here to rise from it. Let me be clear. Strength doesn't mean becoming numb. It doesn't mean shutting off your emotions or pretending you don't care. It means caring deeply while refusing to be controlled by the people who want to exploit that care. It means being vulnerable without being a victim. It means knowing you can love, trust, and give without losing yourself in the process. And it means walking away when someone consistently proves they don't deserve your energy. Walking away isn't weakness. Walking away is power. There's a reason toxic people hate boundaries. Boundaries are the armor of the unbeatable. Boundaries say, you don't get unlimited access to me. You don't get to drain me. You don't get to cross lines without consequences. Boundaries are not walls that keep love out. They are gates that keep poison from seeping in. And if you're going to be truly unbeatable, you need to know where your lines are and enforce them without apology. You will notice how uncomfortable people get when you stop allowing them to take advantage of you. They will call you selfish, cold, difficult. They will try to guilt you into compliance. That's how you know you're doing it right. Because the only people who resent your boundaries are the ones who benefited from you having none. Remember that. Let it sink in. Every time someone shows your strength, it's because your strength disrupts the control they thought they had over you. The ultimate revenge against toxic people isn't anger, bitterness, or retaliation. It's becoming so strong, so focused, so resilient that they no longer even register as a threat. They become irrelevant. That's what unbeatable looks like, when your energy is too valuable to waste on them, when your goals, your vision, your mission are so much bigger than their attempts to pull you down. Because the truth is, while they're stuck scheming and gossiping, you're out there building. While they're wasting their time tearing others apart, you're investing your time in creating something unshakable, and eventually, the difference becomes undeniable. You need to understand that every toxic encounter is not just an obstacle, it's a lesson. They're teaching you patience, they're teaching you discernment, they're teaching you to sharpen your intuition, to pay attention to actions instead of words, to see through charm and manipulation. They are forcing you to grow into the person who can't be fooled, can't be swayed, can't be broken. As much as you may hate their presence, they are shaping you into someone even stronger, and one day you'll look back and realize that they weren't a setback. They were part of the training ground that made you unbeatable. There will be moments when you'll want to fight back in the same way they fight you, petty, cruel, destructive. Don't do it. The higher you climb, the more discipline you need. Do not let them drag you down to their level. Your strength isn't just in what you can withstand, it's in what you choose to rise above. Be fierce, but don't be foolish. Be strong, but don't become what you're fighting against. Your character is your greatest weapon. Protect it at all costs. When toxic people come for you, remember, they are not attacking your weakness. They are attacking your strength. They see something in you that threatens them, something they wish they had but don't. That's why they target you. That's why they want to see you weak. If you were insignificant, they wouldn't bother. So instead of feeling crushed by their attacks, let it confirm who you are. Let it remind you that your presence carries weight, that your existence has impact. They're only trying to dim you because they can't handle your light. And this is why you can never afford to quit. Because the moment you quit, you prove them right. The moment you give up, you hand them exactly what they wanted all along, your surrender. Don't give it to them. Even when you're exhausted, even when you're discouraged, even when it feels like nobody sees how hard you're fighting, don't stop. Push forward one more step, take one more breath, make one more move. Because your perseverance is the ultimate proof that you cannot be defeated. Every champion has scars, every warrior has wounds, every survivor has stories of the people who tried to break them. But the fact that they're still standing means those attempts failed. The same will be true for you. What toxic people underestimate is your resilience. They think one blow will finish you, but you rise. They think betrayal will silence you, but you speak louder. They think rejection will end you, but you find a new path. Over and over, you prove them wrong. And the more you prove them wrong, the more unbeatable you become. Because strength compounds. Every time you endure, you add another layer of resilience. Every time you overcome, you stack another brick on the fortress of your character. And soon enough, you've built something so solid, so unshakable, that nothing and no one can take it down. That's when toxic people realize they've lost. That's when they see the truth. You weren't just surviving them, you were thriving because of them. And here's the part that changes everything. You don't just become unbeatable for yourself. You become an example for others. There are people watching you, silently learning from the way you stand, the way you fight, the way you rise. They might not say it, but your strength gives them permission to find their own. Your refusal to stay weak shows them they can refuse too. Your resilience lights the way for someone who feels like giving up, and that is the ultimate victory. Not only did you beat the toxic people, but you turned their attempts to destroy you into fuel for someone else's hope. This is why you keep going. This is why you refuse to shrink, because your fight is bigger than you. It's about every person who's ever been told they're not enough, every person who's ever been silenced, every person who's ever been made to feel weak. When you rise, you prove that it can be done. And when you prove it can be done, you become unstoppable. You become undeniable. You become unbeatable. And the moment you realize that your fight carries weight beyond yourself, you start to see why it matters so much that you never let toxic people win. Because they're not just after you, they're after everyone who draws courage from you, everyone who's inspired by your refusal to bend. Every time you keep standing, you make it easier for the next person to believe they can too. That ripple effect is something toxic people can't ever understand, because their vision is small. Their world is about control, domination, destruction. But your world? Your world is about creation, building, and lifting others up. That's why your presence carries more power than their poison ever could. They will never admit it, but deep down, toxic people are afraid of you, afraid of what you represent, afraid of what happens when you refuse to be controlled. Because the second you show that their words, their manipulation, their games don't work on you, the illusion they've built for themselves shatters. And once it shatters, they're left with nothing but their own emptiness. That's why they push harder the moment you begin to rise. They're desperate to hold on to what little influence they have left. But that desperation is their weakness. And your consistency, your discipline, your refusal to quit, that's your strength. You don't need to fight them with words. You don't need to fight them with revenge. You fight them by building a life they can't touch, by succeeding in places they said you never could, by staying true to yourself when they tried to make you doubt who you are. Every toxic comment, every dismissive glance, every attempt to make you feel small, they all become fuel. Not because you need their hate, but because you've learned to turn every attack into a stepping stone. What was supposed to bury you becomes the ground you rise from. That's the mindset that makes you unbeatable, turning obstacles into opportunities, turning negativity into drive, turning pain into power. Because the truth is, nobody gets stronger in comfort. Strength is forged in fire, and you've walked through more fire than they'll ever admit. But instead of being burned, you came out sharper. Instead of being broken, you came out unbreakable. That's what sets you apart. You don't just survive toxic people, you transform because of them. And let's be honest, there are times you'll question yourself. There are times you'll wonder if you're overreacting, if maybe you should just let things slide, if maybe they're right about you. That's normal. You're human. Doubt is part of the process. But the difference between those who crumble and those who rise is what they do with that doubt. Do you let it consume you, or do you use it as a signal to sharpen your focus? Every time doubt shows up, remind yourself, it's proof that you're stepping into new territory, proof that you're pushing beyond what's familiar, proof that you're growing. And growth always feels uncomfortable before it feels powerful. The people who want to see you weak will always magnify that discomfort. They'll try to make your growing pains look like failure. They'll try to convince you that the struggle means you should stop. But don't let their version of the story dictate your truth. Struggle doesn't mean you're failing. Struggle means you're in training, and training is what makes you stronger. Think about it. No athlete, no fighter, no warrior ever became great without struggle. The muscle doesn't grow without resistance. The spirit doesn't sharpen without challenge. The mind doesn't toughen without pressure. Toxic people may be the resistance, the challenge, the pressure, but you are the one turning it into strength. That's what they'll never grasp. The more they push against you, the more powerful you become. And here's what you need to remember. Power isn't about dominance. It's not about proving you're better than someone else. Power is about control. Control over yourself, your choices, your reactions. The unbeatable person isn't the loudest in the room, isn't the one throwing punches, isn't the one screaming for recognition. The unbeatable person is the one who stays steady when chaos erupts. The one who knows who they are so deeply that no insult, no manipulation, no attack can shake their foundation. That's you. That's who you are becoming. Every toxic person in your path is unknowingly shaping you into that version of yourself. They think they're breaking you, but you're training you. They think they're stealing from you, but they're feeding you. They think they're silencing you, but they're giving you more to say. In the end, they're only accelerating your growth because everything they throw at you becomes part of your arsenal, and once you realize that, they can't touch you anymore. You have to start seeing yourself as the warrior you are, not in the sense of being constantly combative, but in the sense of being resilient, disciplined, unyielding. A warrior doesn't collapse when the enemy shows up. They rise to meet it. They don't retreat because things get tough. They sharpen their focus. They don't waste time on battles that don't matter. They choose their fights wisely. And most importantly, they know that victory is about persistence, not perfection. You don't have to win every battle to prove you're unbeatable. You just have to refuse to quit. And don't underestimate the power of patience. Toxic people want immediate reactions. They want you flustered, emotional, explosive. Don't give it to them. Let them wait. Let them stew in their own frustration while you quietly keep building, keep moving, keep rising. Because the long game is where you win. They burn out fast because destruction is exhausting. But you're in it for the long haul. You're building something sustainable, something real, something lasting. That's why they'll never keep up. It's easy to confuse silence with weakness, but silence can be the loudest response you ever give. When you choose not to engage, when you choose to stay focused on your mission instead of their drama, you are declaring that they are not worth your energy. And that declaration speaks louder than any argument. Silence doesn't mean surrender. Silence means strategy. There will be moments when you're tempted to break that silence, to prove them wrong in words, to throw their venom back at them. Resist it. The best proof is progress. The best revenge is resilience. The best response is results. And when those results speak, they silence every doubt, every critic, every toxic attempt to bring you down. What you're building isn't just for today, it's for the future you're creating. Toxic people only think about now, their next attack, their next manipulation, their next attempt to control. But you're building something that will outlast them. A mindset, a strength, a life that stands long after their voices fade. That's what unbeatable means. Longevity, legacy, endurance. And here's the truth. There will always be toxic people. You can't avoid them all. They exist in families, workplaces, friendships, even within yourself if you're not careful. The goal isn't to eliminate them from the world. It's to master yourself so completely that their presence no longer dictates your life. That's the freedom you're fighting for. Not freedom from challenge, but freedom from being controlled by it. When you reach that point, everything changes. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop absorbing and start deflecting. You stop being drained and start being fueled. And the more you live in that state, the clearer it becomes. You were never meant to be weak. You were meant to be strong. You were meant to endure. You were meant to rise. And the more they try to stop you, the more they prove it. So let them keep trying. Let them throw every word, every action, every attempt to hold you back. Because no matter what they do, you've already decided. You will not be broken. You will not be controlled. You will not be weak. You will show them every single day, in every single choice, in every single step forward, that you are and always will be unbeatable. And when you keep showing up with that kind of resolve, something powerful begins to shift. Toxic people realize they can't touch you the way they used to. The words that once stung, you lose their bite. The tactics that once rattled you fall flat. You stop reacting and they stop winning. That's when you begin to see their desperation for what it is. Empty noise. This is the point where strength turns into mastery. Strength gets you through the fight, but mastery means you're no longer fighting the same way. You're not swinging wildly, wasting energy on every jab they throw. You're deliberate. You're strategic. You conserve your energy for what truly matters. Your growth, your mission, your vision. That shift is what separates those who barely survive toxic people from those who thrive in spite of them. You stop playing defense and start playing offense with your life. And here's something that will test you. Sometimes, the toxic person is someone you love. A family member, a partner, a longtime friend. That's what makes it so difficult. It's not always the enemy across the battlefield. It's the person sitting at your table. That's where people get stuck, because they confuse love with permission. They think being loyal means tolerating abuse. They think being kind means staying silent. But the truth is, love doesn't demand weakness. Love doesn't require you to sacrifice your self-respect. Real love builds, it protects, it nourishes. If someone consistently poisons you, then no matter who they are, you have to decide, your peace or their approval, because you cannot have both. Choosing yourself is not betrayal, it's survival. And toxic people will try to twist that choice, make you feel guilty for pulling away, make you feel selfish for protecting yourself. Don't buy into it. That guilt isn't yours to carry, it's theirs. They're upset because they lost control. They're upset because you finally drew a line. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself, to your health, to your future. You don't need permission to protect your own life. Understand this. When you rise above toxic people, you're not just proving something to them, you're proving something to yourself. You're proving that your strength is real, not imagined. That your resilience isn't situational, it's who you are at your core. Every time you refuse to bend under their weight, you reinforce your own foundation. And the stronger that foundation becomes, the less they can ever shake it again. Think about the tallest buildings in the world. Do you know what makes them stand so high without collapsing? The depth of their foundation. You don't see it, but beneath the surface, it runs deep. That's you. Every challenge, every toxic person, every trial has been digging your foundation deeper. It may have felt like pressure. It may have felt like you were being buried, but all along, you were being prepared to rise higher. You're not fragile, you're fortified. But let's be clear. Being unbeatable isn't about becoming invincible. You will still feel pain. You will still get hurt. You will still have moments where you question yourself. Being unbeatable means none of those things stop you. You may get knocked down, but you don't stay down. You may feel pain, but you don't let it paralyze you. You may face doubt, but you don't let it decide your fate. You keep moving forward, even if it's one step at a time. That persistence, that refusal to quit, that's what makes you unbeatable. The world we live in is full of voices telling you what you can't do, who you can't be, how far you can't go. Toxic people amplify those voices, but here's the truth. Their voices are not stronger than yours unless you allow them to be. The voice inside you, the one that knows you are capable, the one that knows you are worthy, the one that knows you have more inside you than anyone realizes, that voice is the one you must listen to, and the more you honor it, the louder it gets. When you keep going despite the noise, when you rise after every fall, that's where real validation comes from, not from their approval, but from your own consistency. Toxic people want you to forget who you are. They want you to lose sight of your value. But deep down, you know the truth. You know the battles you fought, the storms you've endured, the nights you cried but didn't quit. They may not know your whole story, but you do. And every chapter of that story proves one thing. You are stronger than you realize. The fact that you're still here, still fighting, still standing, is evidence that you are not weak. And this isn't just about resilience, it's about growth. Resilience means you withstand the storm. Growth means you come out of it bigger, wiser, stronger than you were before. Every toxic person you encounter is giving you that opportunity. They think they're setting you back, but in reality, they're setting you up for something greater. Because once you've dealt with them, once you've overcome that level of manipulation, cruelty, or doubt, you're ready for challenges you never thought you could face. Your power doesn't come from avoiding pain. It comes from facing it and transforming it. Your strength doesn't come from living without challenges. It comes from rising through them. And toxic people, whether they realize it or not, are sharpening you every time they try to dull your shine. You may not have chosen them, but you can choose what you become because of them. And don't ever forget, your life is bigger than their toxicity. You have dreams, goals, missions that go far beyond their attempts to hold you back. Don't shrink those dreams to fit inside their limitations. Don't slow down your progress to match their pace. Don't lower your standards to meet their comfort. Keep climbing, keep pushing, keep reaching. They'll try to convince you that you're aiming too high, but that's only because they've settled for low. Your vision isn't their responsibility, it's yours. The beauty of being unbeatable is that it frees you. You stop wasting time on battles that don't matter. You stop seeking approval that you don't need. You stop handing over your energy to people who haven't earned it. You start living with clarity, with focus, with conviction, and that kind of life is unstoppable. So the next time someone tries to break you, remember, they're not exposing your weakness, they're confirming your strength. The next time they try to make you feel small, remember, you don't need to fight for size because your presence already speaks for itself. The next time they try to silence you, remember, your voice doesn't need their permission to be heard. And the next time they try to convince you you're losing, remember, you can't lose if you refuse to quit. Every toxic person in your life is a reminder of the warrior you are becoming. Every attack, every doubt, every attempt to hold you back is just proof that you are a force worth stopping. And if you are a force worth stopping, then you are already powerful beyond measure. They want to see you weak because your strength terrifies them. They want to see you crumble because your resilience exposes their fragility. They want to see you beaten because your victory highlights their failure. But here you are, still standing, still rising, still proving day after day that you are not weak, you are not breakable, you are not finished. You are the one they cannot defeat. You are the one they cannot silence. You are the one they cannot stop. You are and always will be unbeatable.